Welcome back. And I know I'm stumbling over words because I'm just so excited to get back into the swing of things, Smacks. We had a long weekend after Thursday's incredible final for PlayVS over in Canada. But now we're back in the United States of America, and we're traveling down into the middle of the country to Kentucky for the PlayVS Spring 21 High School Championship Finals over in that state. I'm Rafa, and my boy Smacks. We got another exciting adventure waiting ahead for you all today. And we're starting off a little bit later in the day than we normally do. So we're going to go into the later hours potentially with this best of three.
That we are, but you know what? It's going to be worth it here on this fine Monday evening with you, Rafa. The Kentucky finals are underway, and the two schools that will be representing the finals today will be DuPont Manual for the Manual Crimsons, and we also have Lafayette High School with their Team Generals varsity. And I'm super pumped to be watching both of these schools play head-to-head in this best of three. We got to see a lot of best of threes over the course of these past few weeks. Some of them going all the way to the distance, the more recent ones staying in the 2-0 range. So we'll see which side of the coin this one does end up on as we start already into the draft.
I wonder if there's any French connection to these schools, because DuPont and Lafayette, and I'm not just basing off of that because I watched Hamilton, but, you know, it might have a small factor in it. But, you know, that would be cool. I would love if any of the school representatives for Lafayette High School or DuPont High School or DuPont Manual, I should say, they want to reach out to us on Twitter at RafaCast or at SmacksCast real quick and, you know, clarify or give us any deets on the stories of the origins of the school. That'd be cool. But heading into the draft phase, Smacks, as we've seen throughout the entire past 2 weeks for the PlayVS Spring High School Championship Finals, we've seen a variety of picks. Obviously, we've seen some stuff come out of the similar to professional play, whether it's junglers like Morgana and Rumble. And we also see some spicy stuff every now and then. We've seen Fiddlesticks. We've seen Nunu in the jungle. We've even seen, I think, Karthus a few times as well.
Fiddlesticks, yeah.
And now, getting into this game, I mean, we're already flying through Big and Man Face here. What is happening? This is dope.
We already have a four assassin composition. Actually, no, it's a double assassin, double skirmisher going on here.
I mean, if you think about it, Max, depending on how you build Lee Sin and Viego, you can go full assassin. I mean, you see my Lee Sin. I go Prowess Claw, full lethality, Dark Harvest. I'm going for the one shot. I'm not going for the long fight.
I was making a TFT joke, but that is definitely the case, as we have a lot of these.
That is true.
Really high octane champions going on in this draft. It's looking like it's going to be Zed versus LeBlanc mid lane. And, I mean, even the bot laners are getting in on the action. We have Kai'Sa, the most assassin-like marksman that you can pick for Doge. So we're already going super, super crazy with these picks. It's going to be a very bloody game, you'd have to imagine. And you know what champion really enjoys bloody games, Rafa? The Ruined King himself, Viego, which has been the first pick for Generals Varsity.
I had to really hold back on referencing the emote that he has in TFT, but, you know, this is you know, moving getting a little flushed there, Smacks. You okay over there? Anyway, Leona being taken off the table by Manual Crimsons, because at this point, when you look at both of the compositions from Lafayette and Manual DuPont, both of these teams have a lot of damage. So unless you are going for maximum threat overload, you don't really need any more damage. What you really need is hard crowd control. You need ways to be able to lock down your targets so that your assassins and your damage dealers can actually have a chance and enough time to burst them before they get a chance to get away, because already you have a champion like Xayah who is very, very powerful at being able to self-peel for herself and deny plays from assassins trying to burst her out thanks to her Featherstorm ultimate.
And you know what? It does look like these teams are keenly aware of the lack of crowd control that's going on and how deadly that can be, because all four of the bans that just came through feature champions who just auto-attack you and stun you right away. In the Nautilus, Leona, Renekton, and Volibear, all of those are off the table. And yeah, I mean, they clearly are noticing that trend in this game as well. one of the best champions that you can possibly pick in a situation like this. It's really boring, but Udyr is actually quite good in these games where you can just bear stance over and over and over and stun people that way. But we don't actually even know if the jungle positions are open at this point, especially where... Oh! I look, it's Udyr!
Smacks.
Brain expansion.
Smacks. I didn't realize Smacks had an early document copy to the script for today's match here, but you know, just you almost sold me there, buddy. I really believe that you actually just big brained that one, but you know, this Roji recognizing the fact that hey, like you said, there's a lack of easy crowd control, and being able to go into bear stance mode, walk up to someone, right click, and get an easy stun makes it incredibly efficient for Viego and Zed to be able to walk up and completely annihilate the single target that the Udyr has decided to mark for death. But looking at Manual Crimson's for Dupont, this Camille has been locked in. And the Viego is a champion that we have seen starting to pop up a lot more since me and Smacks are doing a lot of work over in the semi-professional scene for Proving Ground circuit. Now that we're finally on a competitive patch where Viego and Gwen are available and ready to play, Viego is one of these champions that it really seems hit or miss. He is powerful by his kit standards and being able to essentially take control of one of your enemy's champions, but in execution, it always hasn't landed and shown to be as powerful as it is on paper.
Yeah, it's one of those picks that gets a lot better the more kills happen inside a game of League of Legends, because he gets a lot of resets. Whenever you kill someone and you become them, you steal their essence as the Ruined King, you get another cast of your ultimate. You get a bunch of casts of your opponent's abilities for free. So this champion can be very, very good once those huge deadly team fights start arriving, unless you actually lock him down early on. But as you're mentioning, Rafa, this champion has a very high execution. You do have the capabilities of being very slippery, very difficult to nab, and it's going to be up to Killycarry to actually do that in this game and avoid all of the pitfalls that can come through, like a LeBlanc chain going into the Galio threat range of his taunt and his Justice Punch, or maybe even just getting locked in by the Hextech Ultimatum from TSA's Camille, which certainly can happen in this game. So that's going to be pretty exciting for me. Like you said, we haven't seen a lot of Viego quite yet, but we're going to be getting a taste of it in this game. Rafa, I do want to draw our attention, though, to this Xayah that's been picked by Elector, and this is a kind of champion that's really, really good against 5 melee competitions.
Who's going to be able to get in range of her? Yeah. I mean, Zed... Well, yeah, I mean, like, the Zed has the best chances, apart from the Kai'Sa, because she is ranged, she has Killer Instinct, but Zed wants to be able to dash forward with the Living Shadow into Deathmark, but as soon as he shows his hand, it's kind of like a game of chicken when you're playing an assassin into Xayah, because if you go for your last mobility spell or your largest burst spell right off the bat, then the Xayah is instantly going to respond with Featherstorm, and then you can no longer interact with her, because it's very easy for her to then peel away from her opponents, because on that Blade Caller, being able to pull back, you're rooted, you're CC'd, and then you're in a world of trouble. So for this Zed, the only way that in this world and in this game he's going to be able to actually assassinate the Xayah is he needs to get so fed. He needs to be able to come out of the laning phase swinging, needs to have a huge power spike, and needs to be proactive out of the gate and being able to shut down this Xayah, because if you can dash into her and then have just enough stats that you're bursting her without the use of Deathmark, then you force her to use Featherstorm, and then, like we said before, it's a game of chicken. Once she uses it first, then there's nothing preventing her from being able to cancel out the damage from your Deathmark going in afterwards.
Luckily, Rafa, the Zed player in question is none other than Anime E-Girl, which is probably the best name that we've come across as far as the play versus games have gone. If I would,
looking across the maps, Max, you also have Daddy Hamade. So this is we're really pushing the boundaries on the names here. But you know what? Kids are having fun. We're gonna have fun with it. You know, respectfully, of course. And I'm just looking forward to some all-around high-octane League of Legends gameplay, as we always do on the PlayVS Spring 21 High School Championships here.
I am too, and I hope that Anime Eagle pops off so you get to say his name and shout it to the heavens in the middle of a team fight. That would make my day. But we're going to be getting onto the Rift here relatively soon. We mentioned the fact that Xayah is really good against these melee champions. I am really excited that in this game, Rafa, the members of Manual are actually playing the mid-jungle duo that you and I would play, I would think, in LeBlanc and Lee Sin. Those are two of our favorite champions of those roles. So this is pretty exciting to me. This is a very aggressive mid-jungle duo. We know it very well, and it reminds me that if we do end up playing Clash this weekend, that we need to bring that out.
I took a look at the OPG records just because I wanted to see how well practiced Anime E-Girl is on this Zed, because you don't just lock it in and say, oh yeah, I'm first timing it. You've got to obviously put in some games. And so let me read you off some of the stats here. First of all, the Zed for Anime E-Girl is not even in their top 5 for their most played this season in solo queue. So I thought to myself, is it a champion that maybe they just started recently putting time into? Or is it a champion that they played a lot in the past? It wasn't necessarily season 20, not necessarily season 9, so I'm going back, and but it just kind of stopped at season 8. So for me, there's a lot of confidence coming from the mid laner for Lafayette High School. And to me, I'm excited because we're either going to see a prodigy in the making or we're going to see someone having a lot of fun. And I think that is there's no in between. And
Ducky!
Oh, it's a ducky.
A little ducky.
And there's dragonflies too.
Get a nice thumbs up from Daddy Hamade. You know what, Rafa? There's one thing that I will say about the Zed. Me personally, if I were making a League of Legends account, I would probably, I'd probably not name myself Anime E-Girl as the first account, but it's a pretty good second account, if you catch my drift. So maybe Anime E-Girl has been putting in some Zed work on other accounts. So we're also seeing that he has the Galaxy Slayer Zed skin, which is a known fact, as that is the Smurf Zed skin. You can see it right there. So, Anime E-Girl...
I always thought it was the Shockblade Zed.
That one's pretty
I'm
good
usually
too.
more... Yeah, I think for me, that's coming from Season 3, that's like the OG, like, if you see a Shockblade Zed, it's like, oh no. So here's
Reaver
the...
Draven.
Yeah. And yes, dude. Everyone always picks like Gladiator Draven or but then you see Soul Reaver Draven, you're like, oh no. It's the same thing with Zed too. Like when back in Season 3, as
nice
hold
taunt.
that thought, Daddy Hamade getting a nice taunt onto Okar, interrupting the Ferromancy knockup escape, gets nice chip damage. But back to the Zed tier list, because this is important as Max, and I'll tell you why. Season 3, SKT1 Faker Zed skin comes out, and everyone who is a noob at Zed was buying it and playing it, right? But then you could tell who the real Zed mains were when they had the Shockblade Zed skin. And you're like, oh no. So for every 10 Zeds, 9 of them were the SKT Fakers. Some were like plain vanilla Zeds, but then that one Shockblade Zed, you just waited in Fountain if you're a mid laner because you didn't even want to play the game.
Yeah, it's my impression that the Galaxy Slayer Zed has joined the ranks of Shockblade. As we're seeing Roji have to flash away.
Papa Roach getting a lot of damage down. Kill Corey was trying to help out their jungler. But unfortunately, Lee Sin is kind of, I don't know if you noticed this, Smacks, but even in the jungle role, we've seen a lot of Lee Sins at MSI in the top lane and mid lane. Lee Sin has quite a high amount of stats. Now, I will say that traditionally, what's interesting between this Udyr and Lee Sin matchup, there are instances where Udyr can actually beat Lee Sin, but you have to go for a Tiger Max stance build into Bear stance. But because of the way that Udyr's now play, where you go max on Phoenix stance, you don't do as much damage to Lee Sin, and you don't outstat him quite as well. And because obviously Lee Sin is getting the jump on him in his jungle when he's already low health, you have all this mobility in the world as Lee Sin to be able to win those 1v1. So good on Papa Roche to be able to find Roji with his pants caught down as he was trying to finish down the Gromp. And then he picks up a kill on the Kokuri. So now the onus is on Papa Roche to snowball this game with the small lead that he has taken.
The snowball effect in this game is going to be a really big deal. When you look at the mid lane, it's double assassin. When you look at the top lane, it's double assassin bruiser type champions. I think you could call Camille an assassin in a late game as well. So if these carries do get super ahead, then they have all the confidence in the world to go aggressive, go for the early game plays, get the jump on their opponents, and that is where champions like this really start to come alive. League of Legends. So that is the sort of thing that you can get really excited about for this early game from Manuel. As we keep this one pushing along, you can see Anime E-Girl does have this null magic mantle against the LeBlanc, so that's not going to be an item that is too beneficial for later on, but it's going to be really nice in a lane where LeBlanc has a lot of extra burst damage. It's all magic.
Papa Roche spots out this control ward. With this lead, he is more than able to solo this dragon early on, thanks to the additional lifesteal and spell vamp you get whenever you proc Iron Will off of your W. And this lead, I mean, the Iron Spike Whip being a huge early component completion has completely turned out the lights in Roji's bottom side jungle. And he knows that there is nothing that he can do. His bottom lane, Do and Okar, are being pushed in at the moment. Ganagi, though, having some trouble against Anime E-Girl, as it looks like he's starting to get pushed out. As you mentioned before, Smax, that null magic mantle, just a little bit of resistances goes a long way, especially when your opponent doesn't have any resistances to match.
Now you're still looking for a couple more item components in this lane. You can see, though, in the bottom left of the screen is leveling the W, which is what you end up doing in LeBlanc these days. You got to go for the wave clear and the trading tool all in one. It's very nice, gives you an early game spike, and once you hit the Mimic on your ultimate too, you get a surprising amount of burst damage that is versatile enough to use on the wave, because the cooldown is very short. It's about 35 seconds again. You can see it used right there.
Uh-oh. Ganagi might be in a bad spot here.
Oh.
Yep. So Anime E-Girl, knowing that Ganagi had used all of their gap closers, goes in with that death mark following up on the Ignite, and at that point, Ganagi is so low that unfortunately there's nothing they can do. And now, and take this into consideration, Anime E-Girl now has a flash summoner advantage over their opponent. So the next time death mark is up, you have even more tools. You have this tool advantage to be able to run him down and make sure the assassination is secured.
All right, Rafa, here's the real test. Does Anime E-Girl land all of the shurikens? Actually, no.
Well, he missed the first one, but
yeah, it was the first one.
It's fine.
It is completely fine, just because Zed has so much damage early on. I wanted to check and see if the smurfing was beginning already. It is looking pretty nice though with that solo kill. You have to imagine you're gonna be feeling really good about that one. Coming back to lane with a full Dirk and some more swords. And yeah, I mean if I'm Zed in this lane, I'm like, I'm feeling good. I can go for some roams right now.
The Dirk completion is massive in this lane. Ganagi went for boots and then some additional ability power. Daddy Hamade gets interrupted on his escape route. Roji's here. but I'm not going to opt into trying to force a fight too hard. Not using the flash, just pushing away Elector and Daddy Hamade, as Anime E-Girl has made the roam now down. But diving level 6 Xayah, still not the easiest play to do here, Smax.
Rafa, look at this. We did see that Gennady actually stole away the blue buff from Lafayette, and with the help of Papa Roche, does retain all of this advantage up on this top side. Is going to be a Rift Herald taken, and I believe they may have countered the Wolves as well. See that one started up. Okay, that camp is still there, but Roji is looking for his camps. The blue buff, a little bit of a health lead.
Okay, Papa Roach does not win this 1v1, but if you have Camille coming in from the woodworks, could potentially be advantageous, but Kill Curry says, hey, remember when you killed me under my tower a while ago? Yeah, this is payback, buddy. And Anime E-Girl comes in, cleans up TSA.
Oh, but look in the bot lane, Rafa. We're seeing Doge. Expert movement to dodge out of all of that crowd control from the Galio. Really nicely done in Okar. Just there to make sure, hey, I saw that. You better run.
Didn't even use the Killer Instinct on top of it as well, Smax. That was impeccable movement from Do. I think Do is secretly... what should I say? What kind of dancers have like really impeccable movement? Like tap dancers?
I thought you were just going to call him Gala. I think that would have been fair.
Oh, okay. Well, wait. Anime E-Girl. I mean, my God. Just... This is the Zed. This is the power of the Zed, Smax. And like I said before, looking at that OPG record, it's like, there's not much data, there's not much records, but if they've got private scrims going on, it is working out. Now, Daddy Hamade finds an opportunity to turn things around, but Okar is going to be able to answer back. Kill Curry coming in with the teleport off the Magnet Sword, re-engage, but nice pullback on that Blade Call from Elector. Takes down the support for Lafayette, but now Daddy Hamade on the run. Roji is there. Anime E-Girl comes over the wall. Oh my wa Moshinderu, and takes him down.
Yet another kill for the Zed in the mid lane. That's up to 4 all of a sudden. They're going to be giving up some priority on this top side, but again, the kills go in the favor of Lafayette. See, that's a full Prowler's Claw at 10 minutes now picked up. The advantage is huge for this Zed. It hasn't really spread around too much though, Rafa, and that's the point you have to look back and see if it is going to be worth it, because now this fight, this doesn't involve Anime E-Girl quite yet.
Ferromancy, opting in from Okuri. Papa Roche doesn't have enough friends, and Anime E-Girl is there once again. And TSA waiting to flash over the wall before Kill Curry, but he still has the ultimate reset. There's no way. Oh my God, he gets another one?
Yep.
Dude, this champ is nuts, Max.
Yes. Yes, it is. You get so much mobility on Viego. This is what I was talking about with the resets and everything. Now he's proxying the wave as well. It's going to be pushing back toward it. I see another solo kill in the mid lane right now. And while we watch the highlight reel from Anime E-Girl, I do want to remind everyone what I was just talking about, how the advantage for Lafayette hadn't quite spread around too much. It was just a very tall and threatening Zed. But now with all of these plays being made across the map and all these kills going over continuously, it is getting to that point where you can say the advantage is going all throughout the entire 5-member squad.
Doge. He's been in this situation before in a 1v2. Has Killer Instinct if he needs to reposition. Actually, he's just going to flash to Featherstorm. Killer Instinct wasn't ready, but Elector pulls the blades right through the back of Doge.
And that was an excellent use of the Gale Force right there. Didn't even need to flash. Oh no, Nagi. Don't let it happen again.
He has flash. To be able to distortion away. That's the Summoner's spell down now. And Anime E-Girl being able to maintain this advantage over LeBlanc in the mid lane. Unfortunately enough for Gennady, still maintaining, or keeping up in CS, I should say, but when you got a Zed who's got Prowler's Claw already off the gate, it's going to be difficult, as Okar is trying to force and keep Daddy Hamade and Elector interested, because Anime E-Girl is on the way. No Death Mark available, already use it on Gennady back in the mid lane, but Roche, oh my God, Jesus! Anime E-Girl, relax!
Man. Oh. That's just not fair. The set damage is brutal. That's one of the plays where the shurikens just all connect. You see the AD carry's health bar 1 second, and then after that you don't see it at all. That's ruthless from Anime E-Girl. The extra strength from the Prowler's Claw on top of it all. I'm going to be going right back to mid lane, but yeah, like I was saying before, the advantage is going all the way across. Oh, man. Oh, this is brutal. Oh, look at mid, too.
That was disgusting. You know, the surprising thing, despite all of this, Smacks, is that the CS gap from Elector against Doge is massive enough that it is keeping DuPont High School in the lead in terms of gold. But this Zed is big. So my biggest concern now is, can DuPont protect their Xayah? Because already the Elector has faced the first death. Xayah, in the grand scheme of things, we already talked about at the top of the draft, one of the better marksmen to play when you are trying to deny and prevent assassins from completely destroying you. So that is going to be the biggest obstacle and biggest challenge for DuPont this game.
This is one of those situations where both teams have the tools at their disposal to take the advantage that they want in a game like this. You can see that the gold lead is still in favor of the manuals, but is the Zed that is becoming more and more deadly. Do you see that Lecter actually has more gold than Anime E-Girl? But it's still a sort of a rock, paper, scissors situation where Elector is kind of made of paper. Anime E-Girl has some sharp scissors.
Papa Roche might trying to find an opportunity on the Okar, but he dashes over the wall, and now he needs a way out. Ignite comes out from Killikuri. Papa Roche is going to be able to escape. Kanagi taking a lot of damage. Over from Doge, dashes in with the Killer Instinct. And now the fight is on. Anime E-Girl, Deathmark onto Elector, forcing the Featherstorm out, but the damage still comes through. Assassinates the marksman for DuPont High School. Now TSA, Daddy Hamade, we're going to try and ponder whether they should contest this Rift Herald, but with that recall coming out from Daddy Hamade, that does not seem like the play. Because despite not having a jungler, Lafayette High School are strong enough that Papa Roche doesn't even want to risk going for a steal.
You've seen an example now of what happens when Zed has access to Elector's Xayah. Gonna get to watch this one yet again. These fights, this is not the end-all be-all of this game. I want to add that one to this situation because there are going to be a lot more fights like this. If Elector survives any one of them, it can go completely the other way. It's just one of those situations where the assassins from Lafayette were able to get to this backline. You can see Elector, even through the Featherstorm, just gets obliterated. There's a 1-for-1. They do kill Roji, but it's not going to be worth it in the end. It is still going to be advantage for Lafayette. And now they start up on the strike. Oh no, Elector. Oh no.
No Featherstorm. But wait a minute. Elector actually forcing Anime E-Girl's hand. On the flip side, TSA just got to shut down on a Killicuary. The numbers advantage. No Deathmark either from Anime E-Girl, so your most fed member for the side of Lafayette can't even participate in the fight. And DuPont High School take that opportunity to find some kills back.
There it is! That's exactly what I was talking about. Elector actually survived without having to use ultimate, without having to use flash. Those abilities are still coming up, so didn't have access to them. And now it's going to be a wave pushed in mid lane, a Drake taken, and that second part there, the Drake, is huge because it's a Mountain Rift, Rafa. That extra durability across your entire team is so crucial in a game with like 7 different assassins that are all trying to kill you as fast as possible. The extra shielding, the extra resistances are pivotal in a game like this.
There was actually a lot of patience and demonstrated from Anime E-Girl because knowing that there was just one more auto attack needed to take down Elector, because thanks to Deathmark, that little shuriken will start floating over their heads if you've already done enough damage to burst them once the mark comes through. And Anime E-Girl, if they had auto attacked and committed, they might have been able to take it down. However, They have a huge shutdown, 300 gold, and you don't want to give that up over to Elector because you would have essentially traded 1 for 1. In those situations, I respect basically the man. What is the word that I'm looking for? I think it's not it's more than respect, but it's about the reservation to say, you know what, I can't actually kill Elector here without giving up a shutdown gold. I think I have to basically give up that opportunity to make sure that I don't give a gold swing back over in the favor of this 80 carry. Because throughout all of this, Max, even though Zed is their most fed member, DuPont High School are still up 2,000 gold, almost 3,000.
Is still in the hands of the Manual varsity team. And still pull this one out. They have the most fed member on the Rift, and they're starting another play. Meal Galio!
Nowhere to go. Oh my god. You said it's Max. Hextech Ultimatum, Hero's Entrance.
What do you do?
What do you do? Almost as, I mean, the same level as, like, Cataclysm. Oh, okay, well, Prowler's Claw into Deathmark. Dodges out. Oh my god. Anime E-Girl tried. Oh no. Oh no. Ginagi comes out of nowhere, forces Anime E-Girl's hand, and Elector says thank you for the shutdown, and now smacks. If they are able to outplay the Zed like that, we have to go back to the top of the gold charts here and look at the rest of the players on Lafayette.
Yeah, it's getting up there. TSA has more gold. Elector has more gold, and Papa Roche is getting there as well. That was a very, very bad sign. We got to see the shurikens all dodged away. This be the fight that turns around?
Daddy Hamade gets interrupted. Might get caught out here as well. I don't think there's any way out of that one. Killer will be locking down Daddy Hamade for that one. The Rift Herald has been planted down as well. They're going to be able to guide it into this top turret. Maybe 1 or 2 turrets will be taken down, at least for sure this first outer one. But they are pushing with 4-man strong, and they want to keep going with this one, Smacks, obviously. So now, depending on how well DuPont are able to respond, they might try to force a fight.
Elector, you cannot walk in that way. You don't have ults. Would be a force of the Gale Force or the Flash. All the way around. And without the Feather Storm, Anime E-Girl has a lot of kill threat onto Elector. Not going to go for anything too crazy. This Baron is available for Lafayette to consider. Instead, it's going to be a recall. And as we get into the later stages of this game, is this exact situation is what we have to pay attention to. It's which Fed guy is stronger. 3 shurikens go out, Elector dodges all of them, and then still gets the shutdown in the end. Just amazing play from this Xayah player. That's an extra 600 gold into the pockets. And afterward, this is going to be just another display where we do get to see Manual. They get caught out a little bit. Daddy Hamade is going for some wild plays. Importantly, though, Rafa, they got the flash from the Liquary. It's not all bad.
For Lafayette High School, they need to be able to see if they can start getting extra resources into their other carries, because, like we pointed out, if Anime E-Girl is not able to pull off their one job in this game, which is eliminating Elector from the fights, then it becomes very difficult the rest of the members of Lafayette to actually win these 5-on-5 situations. And honestly, you don't necessarily want to opt in for 5-on-5s. You want to split these fights up. You want isolated skirmishes and fights. Okay, Okar just forcing the Magna Storm onto 4 people. Anime E-Girl, who's he going for? He's actually going for Ginagi. So Elector is untouched, and it means he can just rain havoc against the rest of the members of Lafayette. And Ginagi being able to escape from the death mark means that Anime E-Girl doesn't have any damage left in the tank. No gasoline to be able to put out the fire of Elector. My God. Manual DuPont. DuPont Manual. They get the ace smacks, and I have no words.
You know, you mentioned that they didn't have gasoline to put out the fire. I would wager that they had a little bit too much gasoline, and gasoline and fire do not go well together.
I was definitely searching for the word water, but you're absolutely right. I think the
this is a little too much gas.
Yeah, a little too much gasoline. The flabbergast that I apparently have is causing me to basically make incorrect metaphors and similes in the moment, but I think that speaks volumes about how well Dupont are playing around Elector, being able to protect this AD carry, and the fact that Anime E-Girl is not able to get the assassination off means that this, on a 5-on-5 basis, this squad is proving to be stronger. They have more gold, which means they have more stats to be able to fight the remaining members and the individuals and the members of Lafayette. And at this point, Smacks, they are at soul point.
Elector's farming so well, team fighting so well, and even itemizing so well. You can see there's a stopwatch in their inventory just to stay that much safer in these team fights. You can see 11,000 gold on that one carry. That is over a fourth of the team's gold. Just wanna simmer that one for a little while. Just let that one let it breathe a bit. Let it marinate. This guy is so fed in this game of League of Legends right now. And right when they need him to be most. I know if I'm playing this game, Rafa, if I'm 80 carry against Zed and Diego and Rel, I mean, you already know what I'm saying. I'm saying, guys, I don't want to play this one. We got draft gapped. I'm playing 80 carry against all these assassins. This is not going to be fun. I just wanted to click some people, and now they're trying to kill me with all these ultimates. But Elector has risen to the occasion. He is making this game his own. I'm really, really impressed with the level-headedness and the willingness to just continue on through these team fights the way that it has progressed.
Daddy Hamade needs some friends. Magnustorm comes out from Okar, pulling Daddy Hamade right back into the death grip that Lafayette want to exact. Gillicuary finding an opportunity, flashing forward into Justice Punch. Ganagi getting locked down. Distortion's out. Papa Roche comes in with the safeguard, providing a little bit of extra shielding on the back end of that one. The rest of the members of Lafayette are not able to secure Ganagi as an additional kill, but respect the attempt. They did burn Flash away from the mid laner as well. Dupont High School still very much so in the lead here, Smacks.
Absolutely they are, and you have to remember that Elector and TSA weren't even present for that fight. They stayed at their post on the side lane, pushing in waves, dealing damage to the structures in the game, and getting more gold onto these carries. That's an Infinity Edge now completed for Elector. He has completed 3 items before some members are even thinking about their second. This is a very powerful and strong Xayah. And it's looking like we're getting some pings over to the Baron as well. They have so much burn damage. Get through this objective. Big Purple Worm has seen better days, you have to feel. So we're about to hit the 27-minute mark.
Oh no. Okar, this is not a good spot to be in, my friend. Gonna get locked down, Everfrost, the stuns, everything for the support of Lafayette High School, as they were just trying to get some vision control down onto the Purple Worms, Max, but he doesn't get a chance to. There's the rest of Manual waiting in the wings, and this Baron is burning down very, very, very fast.
There goes. That's the Baron completed for the Manual Crimsons of Dupont High School. And that might just be the last objective that they need to close this game out. There are still some inner turrets available for them to take. They still need to push those minions through and get to that objective. But the good news is, Rafa, even though they've just lost their mid lane turret, they're going to be back on the map stronger than ever, and the Drake Soul is at their disposal as well in about 45 seconds. From right now, but we get to watch this team fight yet again. Again, look at that mini-map. Xayah, top lane. Camille, bottom lane. They know where they need to be on Dupont High School. They know that this does not matter as much. Do lose out on some of their health bars and some resources as well, but they're still in the farming phase as this fight continues. They should be. They've got even more of an advantage now. That's another BF sword for Elector.
Oh my god. This dude's not building any attack speed whatsoever. They know they already have enough And the base stats that they get, Papa Roach going quite deep into the back line. Does provide Daddy Hamade a nice hero's entrance onto 3 members. Caliculary trying to say something about it, and Deathmark has found Elector, but just as I say that, Anime E-Girl is eviscerated. Absolutely destroyed off the map. No backline threat to be able to threaten an Elector. I was going to say, Smacks, you know, we don't talk about builds that often, but when we pull up the item grid again, there's no Phantom Dancer. There's no any type of attack speed. There's not even a Lord, understandably, no Lord Doms because there's no tanks. Real tanks. I mean, oh my god. Elector takes the 1v2. He says, Daddy Hamade, you better hold me back, bro, because I'm about to style on these guys.
Not even needing the stopwatch in the end, Rafa. Just so much burst damage. Doge got one tapped. Are we playing Valorant? I think he just got headshot.
My god. I am at a loss for words. I think that puts them at a 10,000 gold lead. And I know this replay, not the greatest moment for Papa Roche, but he did his job. He gave his life for the cause, being able to deliver Daddy Hamade right into the thick of the fray. And right here,
yeah,
God, there's just no chance for Anime E-Girl on that point.
TSA crushed it with the Hextech Ultimatum. What a heads-up play to make sure that the Zed cannot get out of there. Anime E-Girl is stuck in the pit with Elector, and all the feathers along with it. All right, let's watch this again. Doge does take a chunk right there. Here we go.
Look at the way Elector walks up. Did you see how Daddy Hamade is like, hey, I'm going to recall. And Elector's, all right, I'm going to fight him. He's like, oh, you need help? Nah, bro, I'm fine.
Brutal.
I'm piss chilling.
Are we listening to the first song on Olivia Rodrigo's new album? Because that was brutal.
Wow. Indeed it was. And he's got a GA too. So now, like, even if Anime E-Girl is able to get their full burst combo successfully through the Featherstorm, you now have to cut down through a Guardian's Angel on top of it. And there's so many protective tools from the side of DuPont High School that I don't think that Lafayette actually have a chance unless DuPont just start a series of throws. At this point, the siege is so strong for them. I think it's only a matter of time, Smacks.
The armor gets bumped up as well with 3 extra Mountain Drakes. This is a huge, huge Xayah right now. Watch the Featherstorm come through.
Daddy Hamade now looking for the re-engage, the flank from TSA. They found Doge, and he's going down soon, but Elector, wait, there's no way Elector fights off 3 people by himself. He does! And Anime E-Girl now is running for the hills, looking for a recall chance, but he's the only one left standing. I've never seen a Zed 1v5 these fight Smacks before, but if they want a chance to move into game 2, but the turrets are falling down so fast, DuPont High School, they come in with a statement victory, and they advance to game 2 and put themselves a match point for the Kentucky Finals.
Good stuff from the Manual Crimsons in game number 1. The gold lead was gigantic. They laughed in the face of the Assassins. Elector on the Xayah put in so much work in that game. Those Assassins, they just looked like more minions at the end of the game at that point there, Rafa. This is a tremendously strong Xayah in the end. The team rallied around this carry so well too. The crowd control from Galio, Hextech Ultimatum from TSA's Camille. Everything was so nice in the late game team fights, and in the end, we got to see Elector style on him with the lead that he got.
Every single time after the mid game that Anime E-Girl tried to go for Elector,
Look at that.
I think it was just the one death. The one death that Elector had this entire game, if I'm not mistaken, that Anime E-Girl had the jump on him because Elector already had expended Featherstorm. But after that, it just got incredibly difficult. Anime E-Girl was 6 kills up at one point. No deaths, no assists, everything. But this is the real assassin on your screen, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, that's wild. The double kill right there with the zoom in. It's a good replay right there. Shout out to our production over here at PlayVS. But yeah, I mean, Electra and the rest of that squad is going to be taking us to that match point here. It's a best of 3 as a reminder, so this next game, Game 2, very well could be the last one that we end up watching with you all tonight. Sad, I know, but Lafayette is going to need to bring us back and take game number 2 if we're going to be seeing that Game 3.
You got it. I mean, you heard the man, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are looking for another banger game, it will be on the way. Just going to take a few minutes to cool down and then get ready for potentially our final game of the series.
I saw another day, only to scream into the night. Nothing ever tries to change, even if I want to realign. 'Cause I've been sitting here, same old ways, taking off without the same mistake. Can I leave it all behind? Follow all the leading signs. When the dark is growing and the light is closing in, tell me where you're going. Won't be a simple voyage.
Welcome back, gamers. We're getting into game 2 between Lafayette and DuPont Manual High School, where, if you missed out on game 1, well, I'm going to paint a quick picture. On one hand, you had Lafayette High School. The mid laner Anime E-Girl locks in the Zed, has an incredible laning performance, and gets to a pretty terrifying start, 6-0 on the Zed, but it was no match for Elector's Zaya over on the side of DuPont High School. And as a 5-man core unit, they were pretty much getting more gold than any other lane apart from the mid lane advantage that Anime E-Girl had. And then as a 5-man unit, once they diffused the threat in Anime E-Girl Zed, the rest of the team fights were super easy to pretty much clean up on their side. And now it puts them at match point as we'll be able to get a quick adjustment on the score here, because Manual Crimson will be 1-0 here. They're at the match point, and now they're on blue side here, Smacks. So this kind of opens up the table of what type of picks are priority for the side of Manual DuPont.
Definitely feels like we might be getting some assassin bans as we get into this next game. But the teams are not quite agreeing with me in this one so far, Rafa. We're not quite at that point where the Zed, the LeBlanc, the Viego feeling too oppressive in these games quite yet. And honestly, I don't blame the teams too much for that one. It was mostly a victory off the back of Elector really popping off on Zaya, and it's not going to be banned either. So yeah, we're going to keep moving along, I believe, with the same exact bans from game number 1, and it's Elise.
I'm a big fan. I think, especially with the changes to the catch-up XP being introduced back into the game, Elise has the potential to take her rightful place as the queen of the early game, have strong early game presence, and as soon as you hit level 3, you have access to all your main spells, and being in spider form, you essentially have 6 spells. So, very powerful at dives as well with that repel. You have single target lockdown in that cocoon, and then of course, not only the burst damage from your your current percent HP damage on the human form, but also the execute damage in your spider forms, Max.
What better champion to pair up with that Elise than the Renekton, Rafa? That is the perfect champion with this Elise. These two have been a composition couple since I've been playing the game. They just go in, you land the Renekton stun, which you just click them, you can't miss it, and then the Elise the Elise cocoon comes through. You can dive anyone. If Elise is tanking the turret as well, you can repel up and then avoid the turret damage. It's so nice to have these two. And I mean, if Caligula is playing this Viego up in the top lane yet again, he's going to need to be very careful that he does not get dove by these two champions, or just ganked in general, because there's just so much crowd control, so much burst, and Viego is just not a champion that is tanky enough to deal with all of that.
And the Viego is going to scale later and later into the game. We saw that even as Lafayette were facing evident and imminent defeat, moments where Caligula were able to get in 1v1s with other champions. He was doing a lot of damage. That is where Viego excels. But in this laning phase, Renekton kind of takes the cake when it comes to being able to out-sustain and out-lane other champions, because you do have... Viego, his advantage coming from that he doesn't rely on a resource bar, but Renekton did that before the Viego did. I mean, Renekton's been around relying on Fury, and the more Fury stacks that he gains, the empowered abilities come out. You have AoE sustain as well. So when you're looking at the side of Lafayette, in order to protect this Viego, you're going to need to be able to match some early game power in that jungle role as well.
There are some interesting situations going on, though. We now have a set lock-in for Lafayette, meaning that it very well could be Viego going to a different role. Set and Viego can both flex around pretty much in all the topside locations. Set is sort of fallen off in jungle, but Viego is certainly capable of playing that role, and the other two as well. So we still aren't entirely locked in. Just because Caligula did play the Viego in game 1 doesn't mean it's happening again. However, with this lock-in here for Manual Crimsons, we do know that the Nautilus is going to be support, and we're still waiting on what that mid lane's going to be. It's likely to be a blind pick. Again, we still don't really know what champion is going to be for Anime E-Girl, but it's going to be a repeat with a LeBlanc.
Thinking about Lafayette's last options here. You have double AD or double physical damage in the solo lanes. So, you need to be locking in some magic damage. Now, there is an opportunity to send this Viego into the jungle. Potentially, it's much better than trying to force Set or Silas jungle again. They were junglers at one point, but Riot was not a big fan of them being successfully flexible in all three roles, so they kind of nerfed their clear speed and their ability to sustain in the jungle role there. So it looks like we are going to get Viego in the jungle role for Roji. Anime E-Girl is taking the Silas into the LeBlanc, and Calicuary swapping over to the Set. It's going to be tougher to dive from the Renekton, but don't forget, folks, that even if he pops the Haymaker Shield, if the Renekton hasn't procced his W yet, that thing cuts through shields. I don't remember what the exact numbers are, but in his W passive, when you activate it, it is like, I think it does at least 200% bonus damage against shields.
Are you
Might
referring
be
to
higher.
Renekton's W?
Yeah, Renekton.
It just eats the shield.
Oh, it just eats the shield completely.
Yep. It
Well,
removes the shield and then deals its damage after.
oh my god. Well,
Yeah. It's very
it's
good.
another game. It's another game of chicken smacks. It's like, hey, I'm hitting you. I'm hitting you. I'm hitting you. I'm not popping my W, but I'm still hitting you. And Set's like, all right. Then it becomes a game of, does Set have enough stats to just win auto attack trades against Renekton before he pops the W?
Probably
Who
not.
pops the W first, Max? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good matchup for that Renekton if you are reserved enough and you do have a nice health total to deal with Set. The way that Set wins this matchup is by playing a little bit out of the range of Renekton's auto attacks, not going for those trades, and using the passive very well. For Set, his passive does give him an increased stat for his health regeneration, so he can stay in the lane a little bit longer. That's how he sustains through this matchup. So, we will see if that does come true for Calicuary. He can provide that extra sustain to this lane. Another thing that could help is maybe an early Ocean Drake. And for Generals Varsity, they are probably going to be looking a little bit more keenly on the Drake in general. They did get one of them in the early game in game number 1, but it was the Mountain Soul buff that ended up coming through and being the straw that broke the camel's back in that game, where we did see Dupont have so much scaling. The extra resilience of all of their members was far too much to cut through for the members of Lafayette. And for me, that's the key sign where I'm like, okay, we just can't let those Drakes go over anymore. We got to go for that objective. We got to get the scaling advantage on our side, and we have to have that unlock if we want to win this finals best of 3. And to do that, you got to win game 2 now, and you also have to win the one after that.
Quite the mountain to climb if you are Lafayette High School. Whereas for Dupont Manual, it's just one more game, one more victory, and the Kentucky Final Championship is their title rightfully earned. As we didn't get a chance to mention this before, but for Dupont Manual, I'm very certain that they actually won the Fall 2020 split, and they are the defending champions. So, coming back here, defending the throne, defending the title is something that they are more than ready and already have shown a lot of confidence in that game 1, being able to do quite handily here. Lafayette, we're going to have to see if they can rise to the occasion, if they can show that they still have a little bit of fighting spirit. They are showing a little bit of creativity in the draft, flexing around some powerful solo laners as well as a very powerful scaling jungler. Back to our kind of concerns for their opponents in Manuel Dupont or Dupont Manual is this Elise Renekton dive combo is so ruthless, Max. And if Calicuary is not ready, or if Roji doesn't read the movement correctly from Papa Roche's map start, then Caligula is going to be in a whole lot of trouble in the early game.
Absolutely. That's going to be true of any top laner, and no matter what champion you're playing, no matter what player it is, up against the Renekton Elise, that's just how deadly those two champions are. But what matters at the end of the day is if you can give up as little resources as possible while staying alive. If you can just back up when you're in threat range, when you know that the Elise is going to be there, when you are low HP, you can back out of that situation and just maybe go back to base, maybe just back away from the turret entirely, and then come back when the coast is clear. That does mean the world in a competition like this. And Set does have some pretty nice scaling later on. He has a lot of AoE crowd control that he can provide in a late game team fight. The showstopper is really nice against a champion like Kai'Sa who wants to dive into the backline. You just suppress her and then body slam her into the enemy team. You're doing a lot in that fight. And usually a lot more than a Renekton can as well, because you do have that scaling damage side of the set too. So we'll see if that's going to be the case for Caligula in this one. He's not on the Viego. That did go over to the jungler Roji, and again, this sort of counter matchup as well. The Renekton is really good into the set, so it's a bit scary, Rafa.
If you are DuPont Manual, it's early game. We already mentioned it at the top of the draft. Very, very threatening. As Papa Roche is actually going to get a chance to put out a ward. Doge spots it out. We'll notify the team that, hey, they got vision on us in our red side jungle. But notice that Roji does have the sweeper. So, on the one hand, you could immediately take out that ward. But because it was planted at 40 seconds, what you can do, you start red buff, and you go over to Krugs. And then that ward should expire by the time you traverse over to Raptors if you as Roji want to go for a full clear of this topside jungle. But just as I say that, they're going to get a vision that Ochre and Doge are walking down through the jungle. And I imagine that the expectation is that Roji is starting on the red side jungle if you are the side of Manual or DuPont Manual.
A bit of a head count there. Okar, Doge, and Anime E-Girl were the ones that went through, as you said, Rafa, and Roji was not there, not accounted for. So the roll call does mark him absent from that push. Just as you said, pretty much always means that he's not going down to the blue buff. He did not take the same path as his other members. Will be spotted as well, so just reassuring now that he did start red and will be going for the Raptors. Does mean that Papa Roche can go for the blue buff, and look at that! Immediately, level 2 Elise. Healing away blue buff. That's going to feel pretty good.
And Roji doesn't have the benefit of having the stronger top laner at the moment, just looking at on paper. And if... You okay, Smax?
Yeah, the Dredge line landed on a minion. I was pretty sad about it. But
Oh, I thought Pat Cat just like ran through your whole setup.
that'd be pretty fun.
Well, Roji trying to tell Papa Roche to get out of his jungle, but because of the priority that Daddy Hamade and Elector have been able to win outright over Doge, it's got to be careful, as now it looks like Roji is getting pushed out. They're going to commit their entire bottom lane resources onto Papa Roche, making sure that he doesn't get away with his life. He tries to flash over the wall, but it's a little too late. First blood over to Roji, and now he is the Spider Queen, looking for Daddy Hamade, trying to be chased over the wall, but beautiful patience from Ochre, holding in the Zenith Blade until Daddy Hamade flashes over the wall, and Lafayette High School come out with 2 kills on the board.
That's gotta feel really good in this early game, Rafa. They shut down the early invade. Papa Roche, he took away the blue buff, but stuck around way too long. You can see that vision in the bush. Lafayette knew the entire time. They were just baiting. They were just ready the entire time for this play to occur. Roji with the double kill on Viego. That is the early start that you need on this scaling champion that can just shred through everyone later.
Yanagi does have distortion, should be able to get out alive. Ab's kind of ducked, barely misses, but Roji is also here on the flip side. Locks Yanagi on the tower. Anime Girl picks up the 3rd kill of the game for Lafayette. And now, they have a solid 1,000 gold advantage in the early game here, Smacks.
Nice roam down from Caliculaire. Doesn't really like this topside matchup, and this is going to be why.
Smacks, remember how we said something about W from Renekton into Cocoon from Elise is pretty nasty combo?
Yep. We were
Yeah,
right.
I don't know why we're bringing it up, you know. Can't be any reason why. Take a looking back at this mid lane fight, though. You know, Ganagi does display a lot of patience waiting for every single thing. But unfortunately, it's very hard to outplay 3 people this early on into the game.
Not going to find the angle there. Really nice roam from Caliculaire. Another gank from Roji. Secures that 3rd kill for Lafayette. The Krugs are going to be taken. The Kruggies, no. Uh-oh.
Once again, it's Cocoon into stun, but this time Roji is here. And Caliculaire pops a huge haymaker, flashing away. TSA follows up with his own flash. But Roji, now in spider form, should be able to run down Renekton. Oh, TSA was trying to dash over the thin part of the wall, but finds the thicker part of it. He's not able to get away from Roji. Now this Viego hasn't had a chance to back yet either, Smacks. He's getting pretty huge.
Yes. This is the Viego snowball situation that we've all seen in solo queue recently. This is the Ruined King at his finest. I'm excited to see what Roji actually does manage to purchase with the recall. We get to see the tragedy of the slice and dice. The dice portion. Not quite good enough. In the end, oh my word. That is a recurve bow and a vampire acceptor.
Blade of the Ruined King for the Ruined King himself, Smacks. And that just means that Lafayette High School, they're going to have a scaling thread come online much sooner than DuPont Manual are expecting.
Bork for the Urk.
Okay.
That's all I
Okay.
got.
Yeah. I respect it.
If you if you shorten the Blade of the Ruined King, then why not also shorten Viego? Drake is started.
Well, Daddy Hamad. Oh, Papa Roche comes in, sneaks the dragon away right under the nose of Roji, and it's a shutdown over to Ganagi. Daddy Hamade still on the chase. Dredgeline coming up, finds its mark onto Okar. Does have flash. Get out in time? Looks like it does, but Electra's going to follow with a flash up of his own. Anime E-Girl is the only one left standing in the mid lane. They're trying to lock it down as fast as possible, having to use the hijack to steal the Nautilus ultimate just to buy enough time for his escape.
Oh, Rafa, I remember this. I remember this from game number 1, where we were getting really excited about the assassins for Lafayette, and then Elector showed up. Oh, wait.
They go back
Oh,
in.
man.
Dredgeline connects onto Anime E-Girl. They thought that with Roji there that they might be able to turn it around, but they are the ones that are getting clowned. And it's Elector, the benefactor of it all. 3 kills to their name. Like you said, Smacks.
And
In
then
that-
Elector showed up. He got another double kill, Rafa. He's 3-0.
Man.
It's happening again. Lafayette, they have such a big advantage. This all starts out with Papa Roche smite stealing away the Cloud Drake. That is a huge, huge piece of this puzzle that is going to be game 2 now for Lafayette. They have to find a way to put a stop to this Kaisa. They still have a really fed Viego. They still have this Silas is going to be scaling up. They still have a big front line with Set and Leona, and they've even got some extra utility from this Ashe pick. But man, Lecter, I've seen him win these quite literally just about an hour ago. I might do it again.
Even though Lafayette came out the game swinging.
Wow.
Just like that. I'm like... And even on the bottom side of the map, there's cross-map kills for the side of Dupont Manual. I'm no longer calling them Dupont. This is the Dupain train, Smacks, and it is in full force. 3,000 gold just about over Lafayette, completely overtaking the 2,000 gold lead that they had at the beginning of the game. And, you know, going back to when we saw that level 1 invade, yes, it was botched by Dupont, and Lafayette were able to pick up 2 kills. But during that time, you have to remember in those situations and invades, in order to turn those things around, you have to pull your bot lane away from the resources that they are receiving from the passive XP and gold that you're getting from minions. And because Elector was sitting in that bot lane the entire time the invade was happening, he has a solid level lead over his opponent.
Watching that replay, just an excellent hook from Daddy Hamade. That's all you really need to do in a lane like this is Doge. Oh no. Doge. You just hawk shot the bush, man. No. No.
Man. As soon as Daddy Hamade is in range of Doge, there's no summoner spells to save Doge from certain death. They are just racking up kills for Elector here.
It's the same as last game. It's the same.
Still level 5.
Oh no. Doge. Alright, let's see what Elector can buy on this recall. Here it is. Let's see. In the base.
Le Kraken.
Oh.
The Gale Force. Once again.
Oh no. Wow. The burst.
Ganagi. The first time in this series gets the 1v1 over Anime E-Girl. Now being able to turn things around. Papa Roche finds Roji in the jungle, trying to escape. Flash comes out. Repel follows up, but knowing that they don't have really any more burst and don't want to play things too dangerously here. Now Papa Roche actually is in a kind of a dangerous spot. Caliculator is waiting in the wings, needs a friend to get out. He does have Flash, doesn't want to have to use it. Oh no, flashing into the wall. That's not quite the angle you were going for. From downtown, Doge finds that crystal arrow, but Ganagi still being able to make it out alive. Holy camole, Smacks. This game is awesome.
The LeBlanc passive took the enchanted crystal arrow, even though the snipe was so clean from Doge. The LeBlanc passive was used about as well as it possibly could have. Keeps the Dark Seal stacks intact. As Roji, you get to watch him trying to go into his own jungle. Papa Roche is there, has to flash away, but again, we see the roams from Caliculator are so useful and so beneficial for this squad. Just going all around the world, trying to protect the team. Papa Roche attempts to flash away, just dodges the damage for a tiny bit, and then... Oh!
Uh-oh.
Wait.
TSA doesn't have friends.
Oh, no!
This is a 1v3. This crocodile is going to get turned into boots. Maybe a belt as well, as Anime E-Girl picks up a massive shutdown onto the crocodile. Actually, it's a small shutdown to be exact, but still, a little bit extra gold in your pocket. Ganagi takes some time to unlock not only the first outer tier turret, but also almost taking down the second inner turret as well. They got it. Holy crap.
Big gold. Daddy Hamade going for Okar. Elector has the ultimate available. Trying to not use the ults. There it is.
He's able to walk in range. Passive auto attack comes through, which means the rest of the crowd control locked down. Follows up. That's a dead Okar. Nowhere for him to go. Did have the flash, but... You know, sometimes you're in a situation where you just realize there's no way I get out of this one. I might as well just accept my sacrifice.
Gotta know when to hold them.
Uh-oh. Roji finding Papa Roche. And then you get the reset, and Ganagi tries to come back, providing reinforcements, but it's not going to be enough burst damage on the backside of it. Lafayette still holding on for dear life as they do find some picks here and there. Remember, Smacks, the Blade of the Ruined King, apart from Ganagi and Elector, are the only 3 champions that have completed item power spikes here.
Very true, but I do feel... Uh-oh.
Well,
Uh-oh.
He did run into one of the other champions that has a completed mythic at this point in the game, and Ganagi, oh, please. Please. Leave him alone, Caliculary. Oh, Caliculary says, no. You don't just dive me. I dive you.
Okay. We have to watch that one back in slow motion because I need to point something out that Ganagi actually did. We're gonna watch this teleport though. I think PSA is gonna be fine. Just in a fast set. But Rafa, that play was slightly more tragic than it may have appeared. Alright. So Roji, you know, he there's a LeBlanc right here. You're not gonna
3 levels up, by the way.
But let's watch this dive again. Because there's something going on here. I, as a LeBlanc player, feel the pain of this. Alright, let's slow this down. He teleports. Okay, did you see that? At the bottom left?
Oh!
He teleported to the W, and then he teleported immediately right back to the R.
Oh, the panic.
Press them both at the same time.
Yeah, it's the panic emergency eject button, but not the not the right one that you actually want to press. Is Roji trying to get a little en passant on a TSA, but doesn't get out alive because Lecter is there to follow up. Crystal Enchanted Air from downtown hits TSA under the tower, but not before they killed Caliculary. But oh my word, Okar with the solar flare locks him in place for the final turret shot to take down Lecter. And then Anime E-Girl is going to try to clean up the rest of the fight here. Papa Roach taking a lot of damage. But the lockdown might be enough, but just as I say that, Kingslayer comes through, takes down the Spider Queen, and Dadi Hamade on the run. Flash in forward from Anime E-Girl, trying to make sure that Dadi Hamade doesn't have a chance to get out alive, but a last stretch line comes in. He makes it out.
Spider-Man to save the day for Daddy Hamade. That's going to be pretty nice on the mechanics, but all the while, it is going to be Lafayette who pick up a nice shutdown onto Elector. You can see the shutdown is so big that there's still one after he died. There's still 150 gold over his head. That's how you know that shutdown was gigantic. Unfortunately, it is going to be the support who picks it up, but it's still a gigantic surge of gold, and that's going to be really useful. You can see this dive happen again. Caliculary does a lot in this fight. It's very, very nice layering of that crowd control. 1,000 gold. Over to your Leona, though. Delicious.
Well, that'll be a tanky Leona. And if I know anything from playing with you or Brian saying, whenever supports get gold, you might think that, oh, okay, it's kind of a bad thing. But nah. If you got a bloodthirsty support, more tank stats means they can't kill me. So you just eventually destroy them with base stats. And it's filthy.
It's quite nice. Leona is one of those supports where if you get enough gold, eventually your cooldowns get low enough where they're literally crowd controlled until they die in a solo situation. Like if Papa Roche is alone here and Okar wants to, he could have just solo killed him right here, but instead he's on the back foot right now. Crowd control from Daddy Hamade's here.
Solar Flare barely goes wide onto Papa Roche. Crystal Enchanted Arrow also goes wide. So Roji, even though being a lot of damage with no lockdown, cannot. Oh my god, there's so much action happening. On the flip side, Ganaki just completely destroyed Doge.
Wow.
Follows up onto Okar under the tower. Papa Roche is going to find Caliculary with the cocoon. Tries to close the gap here. Caliculary trying to fight back. Oh, Haymaker, but Repel dodges out, but it doesn't matter. Caliculary still's got enough damage just in the 1-2 Hay. My god. Caliculary, how long will this chase last? Elector is in pursuit.
Still going. There's a blast cone. Do they know that the blast cone is there? They don't.
They do.
Don't expect it. All right.
Oh my god. Does he get out? He might. Oh. Oh my god. They're still chasing. Run. Run, Caliculary. There's a Renekton.
He's out.
Keep going.
Elector gave up. He's going for Drake.
Can we get like some music in the background? The dun 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 dun. Ba, ba, dun, dun, dun. I don't know what that's from, but I always see it in like super, like cheesy moments. That's beautiful solar flare, but I don't think Lafayette were ready to follow up on that, as Roji having to use the ultimate just as a means of escape over the wall. Oh no, Ochre goes back in, might have been giving his life for the cause, but Papa Roach follows Roji and executes him. Now Ochre just trying to buy some time, but it's a Leona going down. 2 members off the table for Lafayette. And they have quite a minion wave to be able to push in through this bottom inner turret, Smacks. They might do some damage to these structures.
Big news for Lafayette, though. They did sneak away that Drake. They did deny the Drake stack from occurring a little bit sooner. That's going to feel pretty good. They do take a couple of losses in the end, but taking that dragon is going to be okay. They're still down very, very heavily. You can see the gold lead at the top of your screen, 7,000. A little bit more than that as well in favor of Dupont. Arrow lands.
It does land. They get the face breaker. They're locking him down for quite amount of time. Papa Roach, though, has a repel, but there's no other targets to dash towards. Roji takes down Spider Queen once again. And we're looking at this gold that is on the screen here. It is a 7,000 lead. Or a 7,000 gold advantage. Still in the lead for Dupont Manual. The Dupain train does not stop here, Smacks, but my God, you got to respect Lafayette for still trying and for still bringing the punches back to Dupont whenever they can.
They're dealing a lot of damage as well in these fights. Okar unfortunately takes a longer journey than I think was expected, as using the Zenith Blade onto LeBlanc and then the Mimic Distortion came through, so just flew across the screen. But, you know, at the end of the day, like I said, they got the dragon, and it looks like they even got a turret after the fact, too. This is a little bit worse news, though. Baron has started up. They have Hawkshot, but it's really the only thing that can reach that objective at this time.
Doesn't look like it's going to be coming through anytime soon. Doge, the only person that can safely check it. Hawkshot comes out. 2,000 health on the Baron. Ochre was potentially looking to be in range to steal with the Solar Flare. It doesn't do that much base damage, but I would have respected the attempt if he activated it. But the Baron does go over to Dupont Manual. And now, looking at across the entire item lineups here. Multiple mythics already completed. Almost 3 items for Elector. A Magi Soul Stealer picked up for Ganagi. Do you see a pattern here, Smacks? There's a lot of burst damage that's coming through for Dupont Manual.
I am seeing the pattern. The Sudoku puzzle is being completed in my head as Okar has to use the Blast Cone to get out. There it is.
Still has Flash. But Caliculary is here to provide a safe route out. Papa Roche getting locked down by Viego, popping the stopwatch, dodging out on a ton of crowd control. It's not going to be enough. Solar Flare falling up. They're trying to run down Elector. He's already burned the Killer Instinct to get away, flashing away from Roji. But Roji says, no! Get back here! You're not escaping my grasp! And the 80 carry for Dupont Manual being shut down now opens up opportunities for Lafayette.
Too far a commitment onto Okar in the tiny, tiny jungle corridor for Dupont. They didn't have all of their members. You can see Nagi is going up and hammering away at the turrets in the top lane. You can see the bot lane was also being pushed in. That's going to crash under the inhibitor turret. Lose out on 2. That's going to be a huge surge of gold. The problem is, might still not be enough, Rafa. They still need to go for more plays like this for Lafayette. They still need to hope that plays like this continue to be made. They want to continue their way through this final series, potentially with a win in Game 2, but certainly doesn't hurt. See the crowd control layered down.
Papa Roche was dodging out on all the crowd control. Elector and Daddy Hamade were trying to be relatively near. See if they could turn around or look for an opportunity to re-engage. But because they were a little too close for comfort, the Solar Flare landing on the 2 Crystal Enchanted Arrow as well sets up quite nicely for Roji. And now that we might see something similar happen again. Daddy Hamadi getting locked up. Elector is now getting caught up by the Facebreaker from Caliculary, using the Killer Instinct to reposition, but Caliculary, my God, he wants to win the championship. As you can see, he was able to reposition with that Haymaker, but Ganagi now coming into the thick of the fray. As the reinforcements, the cavalry has arrived. Doge is still hailing away with these arrows. Is it going to be enough damage
Triple
from
kill?
Ganagi? Can he? This is a triple for Ganagi. Is he finding enough
Quadra
first look
kill?
for the Quadra? Roji getting the resets though, but now he's Nautilus. Do you really want to be a Nautilus form against the LeBlanc? Might have enough tank stats to be able to win this outright. Goes in, and it's a Quadra for Roji and an ace for Lafayette.
The double quadra kill, one for both teams in the same fight, and Roji is the one who survives it all. Gonna be taking away the Drake as well. Watch the beginning of this fight. Look at the minimap. You can see LeBlanc's not even here. Oh, wait. Renekton died. I think that was a teleport in. But anyway, let's watch this again. LeBlanc's not here. Nagi was not present beginning of this fight, and everyone uses all the damage to kill Lecter. It works. But now, we looked at Nagi for most of that last fight. Let's watch what Roji does. Takes the Renekton right there, does get rooted up. But Renekton, with all those items, is still very bulky, has a lot of sustain, and now with Nautilus, another surge of health and resistances. It might not deal a lot of damage to Nagi, but it is providing a lot of extra mobility, some crowd control, and the shutdown does come through in the end alongside the Drake. But, it's returned on the favor. Wow.
Roji had a huge pop-off with that Quadra kill, but if he gets caught out just like that from Dupont Manuel, he can't have the fantasy of being able to reset City through all the members of Dupont Manuel. And without their jungler now, for the next 15 seconds, there's a potential for Dupont Manuel to do some serious damage to these towers. But the sieging seems to be a little difficult at the moment.
Oh, whoa.
Whoa.
Oh,
my
whoa.
God. Doge might be taking out the fight here, but still keeping some quiet distance. Ganagi actually goes down. Elector is pushing on the bottom side of the map, so I don't know if this was the correct fight to take from Dupont Manuel, getting caught with their pants down. Smacks. I mean,
there's Elector.
Dupont Manuel are still 7,000 gold up, but Lafayette are punishing appropriately these overextensions, these overconfident moments where they're going in for poke, thinking that they're not going to be punished, and then Lafayette just right away pounce on the opportunity.
Dupont are just really separated in these plays. You can see that Lafayette, they're noticing. They're going and grouping up and being this death squad that they have to be in a game like this to claw their way back in. Still, the lead is quite drastic against them. They do still need to be finding these picks off, and when Elector's not there for a fight, when Nagi's not there for a fight, that's the perfect opportunity to go for these. And you can see from the kill score, it's 25-25. It's getting more even by the minute.
Caliculary might be caught out here, has to pop the Haymaker shield. TSA was trying to dash over the wall, but doesn't quite make it through. Or actually, I take that back. It looked like TSA was trying to get there in line. It looked like a slice and dice animation, but they catch out Caliculary. The Baron has respawned. Dupont and Manuel are going to burn this down ASAP.
Shot lets Lafayette know this is going down, but nobody is in range at all. Does mean that's going to be a second Baron over to the side of Dupont. Another big surge of gold for them. Watch this replay. Again, look at that minimap. Elector's bot lane. What does Nagi do? Dives directly into the base. I understand why. You can see Doge's health bar is down to 100 HP. But it's plays like this that Dupont are realizing now we can't really do these guys. We have to play a little bit more reserved. We have to play with the entire squad, or else we are going to lose game 2, and we don't want to go to a game 3. We have a gigantic advantage. We won game 1. And DuPont, they're still in the lead. They do have this Baron, but you need to play a little bit more coordinated. Oh boy.
That's not it. Daddy
Nope.
Hamade, my guy. A little ambitious on the play. Pulls himself right into kill range for Lafayette. That's one Baron buff off the table as well for DuPont Manual.
Ooh, Nagi's on a ward. Do they let him know early, or do they actually use this time to pounce? Oh, they're pouncing.
They pounce. Oh my god, the crowd control is just absolutely disgusting. Didn't even have to use the Solar Flare. Crystal Enchanted Arrow, that's one primary engage tool down, but Solar Flare still available. Facebreaker and Showstopper still available. You can still hijack and take something like a Death Charge. Start off a fight for Lafayette. They have complete control. Oh, Papa Roche was trying to go for a potentially steal. Should be fine for Lafayette. They pick up the third Mountain Dragon, and they're at soul point now, Smacks.
They are. It's 3 in a row under the noses of DuPont. And they're doing all this at a gigantic deficit. They're still down 8,000 gold in this game. But it's just not mattering. And we get to watch this one yet again. Daddy Hamade hooks in. The unfortunate part about Nautilus is that if you hook and you miss a champion, you end up hitting a wall. You just fling yourself into the enemy team, as opposed to something like a Blitzcrank or a Thresh, where you just stay exactly put. So, a little bit unfortunate there from Daddy Hamade. And that spells disaster for this team as well. They got picked in laying in wait for the Drake as well. They didn't quite have the same vision control with their support dead. And still are pressuring all 3 of these lanes. They still have a gigantic advantage, but they are going to be facing up against a 4 Mountain Drake team. Then suddenly LeBlanc is less effective. Elise is less effective. And this KHSAA too, who is a very assassin-like AD carry, also less effective.
Keep in mind, Smacks, that this KHSAA has 2 effective items over Doge. He has Flame Horizon Doge. But when these fights are not being played around Elector and ensuring that he is protected and he is not getting assassinated by Roji or Calicurary or Anime E-Girl, then this massive gold advantage that you have goes right down the drain. So making sure to be able to play fights and reserve crowd control to peel off members away from Elector, as already Soulfreda comes out, getting zoned out of the fight. Daddy Hamade taking a lot of damage on the back end of Calicurary, getting right onto Elector, forcing the flash and the Killer Instinct now. The rest of the members of Lafayette are being able to deal with TSA and Ganagi, but now Elector, every time he tries to get into the fight, Ochre or someone else looks again onto Elector, forcing them away, but it looks like Lafayette are still losing.
All the members of DuPont were present for that one. It's just Calicurary alive now, Rafa. They're going to be sieging down the inhibitor. There are about 20 seconds remaining for the Death Timers. I feel like this might just be the end. I feel like they might just go for it. 4 against 1. There's the stun.
Oh my gosh. They burned so many tools for Elector. Elector didn't get to fight in those fights, but I think Ganagi and Papa Roche were the big heroes, being able to get so much burst damage. And TSA, off the back of that last fight, Lafayette were ready to turn things around, but DuPont Manual come out on top and defend their title as the Kentucky High School champions.
Oh man, that was tugging at my heartstrings in all those fights there, Rafa. We saw so many times where DuPont, they were a little bit scattered. They were a little bit of a question mark in those late game plays. We weren't quite sure if they were going to find a fight that was favorable for them with all 5 members, but finally find that one spot to do it off the back of this actual engage from Okar. And I want to take this time to look at how many people commit to kiting enemy squad for Elector in this one, because Caligulary dives in. Watch what actually happens from this Renekton, from TSA. He sees his opportunity, he's going for all these plays in the front line, but then Elector gets jumped on. He's like, okay, I got you. I'm coming back. I'm making sure that you can survive. I will be there. I'll be your bodyguard. Exactly what happens right here, Rafa. It's just excellent teamwork in the back, and honestly, I mean, we were being a little bit critical of them in this stage of the game. It's really just because we wanted to see this earlier. We wanted to see this advantage expressed through this team play and through this teamwork and through these mechanics a little bit earlier on. Better late than never. And they do get the 2-0. And congratulations. I just want to see a little bit earlier.
Well, I mean, to give credit over to Lafayette, I think every time that they saw that there is a slight overextension, they immediately jumped on the opportunity. And so, you know,
nice.
the props to keep the game, to be still in the game as long as they managed to. But DuPont Manual finally fighting as a 5-man unit. That advantage, as you said, was expressed. So many tools expended to keep Elector out of the fights, because had Elector not been touched at all, you know, as we were talking about, the gold advantage was so high, this guy could have ripped through the team. And so I think there has to be a huge amount of props over to TSA, soaking up so much damage on that Renekton. He was literally amidst 4 or 5 people all wailing away at him and being able to get massive empowered Call of the Meeks to sustain himself through the fight, get Nagi and Papa Roche picking up the slack to deal the damage that Elector wasn't allowed to do, because he's literally getting dove by Ochre, by Caligulary, by Roji as well. So massive props to DuPont Manual. They were the better team overall, and they have successfully defended their championship title here in Kentucky. So congratulations to you all. Played amazingly well. And for the rest of the audience at home, thank you so much for joining myself and Smacks here on the cast. We hope you enjoyed. We had a blast. We had a kick. We always love being able to do this for PlayVS, as it was a banger of a series. And I think the next time that we see you all won't be for quite some time, if I'm correct, Smacks. It's not until June. So for all the PlayVS champions, we'll have more details on what the All-American Cup will be looking like as we get closer to our projected date in June 12th. So hope you all enjoy the summer break, and we'll see you soon. Have a great night.